people. So that's when I went in and I saw there was a website called knittedknockers.org. They're based at Washington State in Bellingham. And it was a very interesting concept. They were giving out these knockers for breast cancer survivors, and they were doing it free. That's another very nice thing, but doing it free is not easy. You know, there's only that much I can do. I did make a couple and I sent it across to them. And I mean, as usual, they sent us thank you letter. That is what they do. Then I came away to India. When I was back in one of my trips, I was back in India, August of 2017. I came back to India. And in December, I had a relative of mine who'd undergone cancer, mastectomy. And I went and visited her. And, you know, because she was communicating, she was able to, I was able to talk to her. I just asked her out of curiosity, I said, something, a personal question, what do you use in its place, in the place of the breast you've lost? She said, nothing. I roll up a handkerchief or I roll up a dupatta and I keep it in the bra. Then I remembered that I had seen the knockers, right? I said, the US, they have something called the knockers. Would you like to try it out if I make one and give it to you? She said, okay, because she didn't know what it was. And I couldn't explain it to her at her home. So I came home and I believe the Saisha, I was destined into Saisha by whatever powers are there in the universe, because after December, I completely forgot about it, just slipped my mind, like our meeting slipped. It was about 3 months and I was due to come back in March to the US. Suddenly I remembered, oh my God, I had promised her the knockers and I haven't given them to her. So I quickly made a pair of it and I sent it across. And she called me back and she was in tears. She said, Jayashree, this is so comfortable. This is so much better than what I'm using. Why don't you give this to so many of the others like me? That was what started it. And we had already, I was a part of a group which did Guinness records for blankets in 2015. Yeah. I just called a couple of my friends, very close friends who've been friends with me for more than 25, 30 years. And I asked them and they said, yeah, let's try it. It's just like we have a meeting and we're having a kitty party and we say, how do you do this? Let's try this hopscotch or something like that. And we tried it. That's how we started Knockers. And of course, I did go online, checked up the knitted knockers, and I signed up as their provider in India. And even this name, Saisha, that I got, I wanted an Indian name. My friends told me, let's have knitted knockers India. I said, no, knockers, nobody would understand that. Let's have a name. I got a name and I Googled, I got Saisha, which said meaningful life. And yeah, that was the meaning. And until date, if I Google today and ask for Saisha meaning, I don't get that meaning. I don't get it at all. It doesn't say meaningful life at all. But I got it. I got meaningful life on that particular day in March when I Googled. And so I said, right, this is the name I'm going to have because it makes sense that the women are having a meaningful life even after their cancer. So that's how we got Saisha. And that's how Saisha was born on March 13th, 2018.
Wow, March 13th, 2000. It's a little after Women's Day, you started Saisha. Okay, now when you are describing the knockers, Jayashree, do you have the knockers in front of you that you can show us? And okay,
so these are the unfilled knockers that we receive from the volunteers. This is a knitted one, and these are filled crochet knockers that we get, that we send out to the patients.
Oh, okay, and you fill it with
polyfiber. It's called, see, this is how we do. We just have to do this in the hole at the back. It open out. Oh. It becomes, I generally overfill. Because you don't get this polyfiber in the market in a small quantity. You may need to buy a kilo or two.
Oh, okay.
This is virgin polyfiber. And we are getting this from, Reliance has very generously is giving this to us for the last 2 years. Till then I was buying it, but now they're giving it to us free at whichever place in India I want. It's being delivered. So we buy large quantities of 10 to 15 kilos and store and keep.
Okay.
This is how.
And this pattern of how this needs to be, was it your learning in the first one that you have retained, or have you modified the pattern?
These patterns are available on the Knitted Knockers website,
Okay.
knittedknockers.org website, as also on our website. We do have not the pattern, but we have a YouTube link. Saaisha India has a YouTube. And yes, original pattern is the same. The pattern is the same even today. But there is a slight modification in the way you increase or decrease. That is all we have done. Modification in the sense, it is something like, say, 2 + 2 is 4, as well as 1 + 3 is 4.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So it's just how you decrease and how you increase. That has given us absolutely, there's no ladder on this. Can you see there are no holes popping out. So which means the fiber will stay in. And this gives a neater finish. And surprisingly, we've been using this for the last 3 years. Knitted Knockers have themselves started using this since a couple of months. Yeah, they've started using it.
Okay, which means you did your research when you set out on what exactly needs to be. Now, doesn't it sweat with that kind of a fiber there?
These are all made out of 100% mercerized cotton thread.
Okay.
See, because it's knitting and crochet, people think it is acrylic yarn or wool. It isn't. Because we have that general perception is knitting and crochet is wool and sweaters. No, this is cotton, 100% mercerized cotton, and it doesn't sweat. Yes, the fiber will be there, but in comparison to what is available in the market, it's very negligible and people don't mind. And it's very light.
Okay.
It's very light.
Okay. So you gave it to your relative, and that's how it started. But now you are connected to so many NGOs all over the country, and you're doing such an amazing job with it. How did the connection spread, the word spread? How did you get all of it? And how did you gather your volunteers? How did the whole thing come together?
Yeah, as I said, it is the supreme power. I can tell you, the universe has been with me in every step of the way. People will think I am just sort of telling you a story, but it isn't true. And people who have been closely connected with me have seen it for themselves. Every step of the way, like when I started it, as I said, we started with 2 volunteers. And we had absolutely no idea what the yarn. I had got some yarn, a cotton yarn from a source in Pune, and I was using it. And yeah, we could all make it. But because we were all experienced crocheters and knitters, we could make it. Knitters, not many, only I started knitting because it was easier for me. And I had the tools. I had the 4 needles and etc. because these tools are now easily available in the market. 5 years ago, it wasn't so. We had to really scrounge for the tools. And because I used to travel, I have the tools with me. And then we started with absolutely no idea what we are going to do or who we are going to give it to. And each of us made maybe 1 pair or 2 pairs, not more than that. We just had it with us, not knowing where we are going to call and what we are going to do. I did purchase the fillers that were used for the toys. But then I found the quality, because I travel, as I said, when I come to the US, I find the quality is different. I felt that quality was not good. That was a recycled fiber that we were getting. I wanted original fiber. So then, we didn't know what to do. And what happened was, in August of 2018, I think it was August, these are very particular months for us because most of the things happen in August, September for us. I've realized that. In August, I think it was when I was just going to be returning back to the US, from the US, I got a call from Dr. Selvi Radhakrishna of the Chennai Breast Center. She was the first doctor who approached us. And oh my God, I was so excited. Imagine a doctor approaching me for knockers, right? She said, I was browsing for my patient. I just asked, I didn't know who she was. She introduced herself and I was feeling really top of the world. And she said, I saw your name on the Knitted Knockers site as a provider in India. So can you provide this for us? I said, how many? She said about 50 pairs. I was stunned because 50 pairs at that time in 2018 or August was, I just couldn't make it. But we did. We had a couple of volunteers who had joined us, sheerly word of mouth. I think must have been 5 or 6 of us. We somehow managed to make those 50 pieces and send it across to her. And she was very, very happy because fiber, I didn't know what to do. Uh, that's when I think it was in August. I'm not too sure. Yeah. Uh, I was looking because the order, she had already placed the order with us requirement, and I didn't know what to do for the polyfiber because purchasing it in the market, I didn't know how much I needed for each knocker. I wouldn't know what the quantity I wanted. Nothing was, everything was learning on the go. So I just Googled and I checked out. My husband told me, I said, who makes good fiber? This fiber I want, who will make it? He told me, maybe you should ask Reliance. I said, Reliance? He said, yeah, they are the only ones I know who make this. Maybe they have the polyfiber too. Believe it or not, I just Googled from the US, I Googled this number. I got the Reliance director marketing. I got his number. And I called him on a VoIP phone. Unbelievable when I tell you this. And do you think the secretary picked up the phone or the director picked up the phone?